Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover a topic named projectile motion, which comes under the chapter named motion in a plane. So we'll start from there only. Ki what do you mean by motion in a plane? The motion of an object is called two-dimensional if two out of three dimensions or coordinates required to specify the position of an object in space changes with respect to time. We already know that there are total three dimensions, and if two out of three dimension changes or two out of three coordinate changes with respect to time, then we'll call it as two-dimensional motion. And two dimensions together makes a plane. That's why we'll call it as, for example, this is a x, this is a y axis, then this particular space is called the xy plane, because here both x and y coordinates are changing. That's why it is called as the motion in a plane. For example, one object is here and is moving from this point to this point. Say this is point P, this is point Q. So we are moving in a plane where the two coordinates are changing. That's why it is an example of motion in a plane. And in this chapter, there are two special cases of motion in two dimension. One is called the projectile motion and the other is called the circular motion. And today our main focus is on the projectile motion. So we'll start from the projectile motion. What do you mean by the projectile motion? Let's start. A body which is in flight through the atmosphere under the effect of gravity alone and is not being propelled by any fuel is called the projectile. This particular definition being sounds tough to you, but it is not that tough. Just try to focus on the right point. Ki when a body is in flight in the atmosphere only under the effect of gravity and not being propelled by any fuel. For example, when you are throwing some object, that particular object goes and again comes to the ground. So in this case there will be no any external fuel which is acting. There is no fuel which is acting on this particular stone. The stone once thrown will go by itself and travel a path and again comes to the ground. But when you will talk about the examples of, for example, the aeroplanes, the rocket, this aeroplanes and rocket all comes under the example of something which is propelled by any fuel. So we cannot take under the example of projectile motion. So there are few examples of projectile motion that we are going to cover today. The first example that is very important, that is very good example, is a javelin throw by an athlete. You might have seen in the Olympics that there is a game named javelin throw. Ki a person or a sports person has to take a rod kind of structure or a stick kind of structure and has to throw it in the air, and it will travel a path, and the one who will throw it to the farther end will win. So you just have seen the path that a javelin particular stick follows is also the parabolic path, and it is covering a motion named projectile motion. And also I will give you one more example. When an object is dropped from an aeroplane, then also it will follow the same path. For example, the aeroplane is moving and you are dropping an object. You are dropping an object, that object will travel something like this. Remember one thing, you might have heard about the in the recent current affairs topic, the Rafale deal, that our Indian Air Force has bought a jet plane named Rafale. What is the purpose of Rafale? That it can drop a bomb or missile to the target. And our more focused target nowadays is China. So it may also drop a bomb to the Chinese tanks which is standing there for the firing. So in that case also, when they will drop a bomb from the height, then that particular bomb will also follow the projectile motion. So all the calculations are based on them only. The next one is when a bullet is fired from the rifle. When the bullet is fired on the air, in the front direction where there is nothing target, no target is there, then after a certain time it will again comes and follows a projectile motion and comes down to the ground. So it is also an example of projectile motion. Then the a stone thrown horizontally from the top of the building, that we have also, already covered in the last chapter also. Ki for example, there is a building and you are throwing an object from that building, then it will go up and again it will come down, just following the projectile motion and a parabolic path. Now the last one is a jet of water coming out of the side hole of a vessel. You might have seen ki when there is a hole in the vessel, the droplet comes like this in the shape of a parabola. Hai, so that is also called a projectile motion. So these are all the examples of a projectile motion. Now we are going to cover the types of a projectile motion, and under that there are basically three kinds of projectile motion. The first one is called the oblique projectile. Remember, the oblique projectile is also called the ground to ground projection. Remember, the oblique projectile is also called as the ground to ground projection. And one more name of the oblique projectile is projectile given angular projection. Remember this word, projectile given angular projection. When you are giving angular projection to the projectile, this is also the same name to the oblique projectile only. So we can call this topic in either of the name, using either of the name. Just see here, there is a baseball player which is standing, and when he or she is hitting the ball, that ball travels a path and it will comes to the rest in the ground again. So the path that is being traveled by the ball in air is also an example of projectile motion. It comes under the category of oblique projectile. Then the next one is, and I have already discussed about this, ki this is a, for example, Rafale, our fighter jet plane, and it is dropping a bomb and there is a tank here. So when it is dropping a bomb and it is moving in the forward direction, that particular bomb will also get some forward pull and it will comes like that, and it will follow and fall on the tank in the front direction. So it will also follow a path of projectile. So it comes under the example of horizontal projectile motion. And for example, I will give you one more example. When you fire a bullet from the gun, that comes under the horizontal projectile motion only. Then the third category, which is, it is nothing but the projectile motion on an inclined plane. When you are, it is just like the oblique projectile. The only thing is, the only clause is, you are just throwing the object on an inclined plane, which is already making an angle theta with the horizontal. So in that case, the name of this particular projectile changes to projectile motion on an inclined plane. So these are the three types of projectile motion. Now we'll deal with the first one in deep. The first one is nothing but the oblique projectile, or projectile given angular projection. So before we move forward, we'll start dealing with each and every terms associated with it, which is very important to understand here. For example, we are covering the chapter name motion in a plane. So we'll draw a plane. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, this is the xy plane, we can say. And this is the object in the circular form here, which is placed at the origin at 0, 0, having the mass m. Say that particular body is thrown with a velocity u, small velocity u, or a small initial velocity u, and that thrown object or body is making an angle theta with the horizontal, and that particular angle is actually represented by the actually been made by the velocity component, initial velocity by from the horizontal axis. So definitely this u will have two components. When you will from a triangle, you will clearly see here, say for example you are drawing a triangle here, the u is represented by the hypotenuse here. Say this is O, let's assume this is A, let's assume this is B, this is a right angle triangle, and this is the theta angle which has been made from the horizontal. So in this particular triangle, in triangle OAB, when you will take the sine theta, this particular sine theta is nothing but AB, yani ki perpendicular upon hypotenuse. It will be nothing but AB upon OA. That means OB will come as OA sine theta. Yeah, OA can directly be written as U sine theta. This is the perpendicular component. Now we'll take the cos theta wala component, then cos theta is nothing but the OB upon OA, and clearly OB can now be written as OA यानी कि u cos theta. So here the horizontal component of the velocity is nothing but u cos theta. So I will directly write it here. The u velocity will have the component along the x axis is nothing but ux is equal to u cos theta, and in the y direction it will have uy is equal to u sin theta. Always remember this. He will not deal with this u, will deal with these two components of the velocity separately. In the x direction this will be your u cos theta, and in the y direction there will be u sin theta. Now the next one is there are two components of the velocity, u cos theta and u sin theta. Now one more thing, in the x direction the acceleration will be your acceleration in the x direction will be 0. That you should remember. And the acceleration in the vertical direction is nothing but when you are throwing the object in the upward direction, you are throwing against the gravity, then the acceleration will be nothing but the minus g, because you are throwing upward. You might be knowing about ki when an object falls from the height, then the acceleration due to gravity will be positive, but when you are throwing against the gravity, then the acceleration will be a negative. So in the vertical direction or the upward direction, your acceleration will be your minus g, and along the x axis the acceleration will be 0. So we'll deal with the type of motion here in detail. Clearly see, along the horizontal direction we will call that particular motion as motion in a straight line or one dimensional motion. Clearly what we are going to do now, we are going to study the two directions, x direction and y direction separately. So along the horizontal direction, that particular motion is called the motion in a straight line or one dimensional, and along the x direction the velocity component is u cos theta, which is nothing but the component of velocity u along the horizontal direction. Also the acceleration ax is nothing but the acceleration along the horizontal direction, and we already know that the acceleration along the horizontal direction is 0. Now we will talk about the vertical direction, which is called the motion under gravity. It is also one dimensional. So what we are doing, we are dividing the two dimension into one dimension. We will deal with the x direction separately and y direction separately. So in the x direction it is called the motion in a straight line, and in the vertical direction it is called the motion under gravity. And in that vertical direction the velocity component is u sin theta, and the acceleration will be your ay along the vertical direction. We already know that along the vertical direction the acceleration will be your minus g. Remember one more thing, the only force which is acting in the vertical direction is the force of gravity. The only force which is acting in the vertical direction is the force of gravity. You remember this. Now we'll deal with more detail. So we can just summarize here in this tabular form कि in the horizontal direction the initial velocity will be your u cos theta, the acceleration will be your 0, and remember one thing, when the acceleration is 0 in any direction, that particular type of motion is called the uniform motion, because when the acceleration, the formula of acceleration is nothing but the change in velocity with respect to time. As the acceleration is 0, we can directly say that v is equal to u, that is velocity is constant, and that when the velocity is constant, that type of motion is called the uniform motion. Now in the second direction, in the vertical direction, the y component of the velocity is called the u sin theta, and the acceleration in the vertical direction is minus g, and that type of motion is called the uniformly accelerated motion, because the acceleration is uniform in the vertical direction and it is minus g, because g is not varying. And note this point, this is very important point that we are going to discuss. According to a scientist named Galileo, if the two velocities are perpendicular, when the two velocities are perpendicular, what we are doing, we are taking the component of u as u cos theta and u sin theta. This particular two component of the velocities are perpendicular, then both are independent of each other. Then u cos theta will deal it separately, and u sin theta we will deal it separately. and both the motion can be treated separately. That is the main thing that we are going to apply. We'll talk about the x direction separately and we'll talk about the y direction separately. Now the main thing is, sir, what to find here, what we are going to find in the oblique projectile. So there are the 6 things that we are going to find. The first one is position vector after time t, then the velocity vector of after the time t, then the equation of trajectory, then the time of flight, then the horizontal range, then the maximum height. These 6 parameters that we are going to find in this particular oblique projectile. We'll start with the position vector after time t. Say I am considering that an object is thrown with a velocity u, and after a certain time t the object reaches the point P, and at the point P the coordinate of point P can be written as x and y. यानी कि in the x direction it will be at a x distance apart, and the y direction it is y distance apart. And again we know that in the x direction there is the acceleration is equal to 0, and the y direction the acceleration is minus g, and the component is u cos theta, and here the component is u sin theta. Okay, so we have thrown the object and it reaches after time t to a point P where the coordinate is x and y. So what we are going to do, we are going to apply the Newton's second equation of motion in the x direction. And we know that what is the Newton's second equation, it is nothing but the s is equal to ut plus half at square. And we know that in the x direction, as the acceleration is 0 and velocity is nothing but u cos theta, and the distance is nothing but the x. So this acceleration term will get cancelled, and you will substitute instead of u the u cos theta. So we will get the first one, that is nothing but x is equal to u cos theta into t. It is that simple. Take it as equation number 1. Now again you will take the Newton's second equation, but in the y direction now. So what is the Newton's second equation? S is equal to ut plus half at square. You will put u, instead of u you will put the u sin theta, instead of a you will put the minus g. So the next expression will come as the s is equal to y is equal to u sin theta into t minus half gt square. This you will take as the equation number 2. So this is that simple. Just only you need to calculate the x and y here. Now you need to calculate the position vector here. So what is the position vector? You just join this O to P here. This OP vector is called the position vector OP. So how we are going to calculate the position vector? It is nothing but xi cap plus yj cap. Just put the value of x here. It is nothing but u cos theta into t I cap, and put the value of y u sin theta into t minus half gt square into j cap. So that's how we can calculate the position vector OP. It is that simple. Just take it the equation number 3. Now we'll come to the next term which we are going to calculate, that is velocity after the time t. Again we'll take in the x direction. We know that we know the equation, first equation of motion by Newton's first equation. We know that v is equal to u plus at. And we know that in the x direction the acceleration is 0, it will be nothing but v is equal to u. So directly we will write here कि velocity in the x direction or the final velocity in the x direction is equal to initial velocity in the x direction, and it will be directly equal to the u cos theta. That is, it is that simple. And again we will apply in the y direction Newton's first equation. We know that v is equal to u plus at. Instead of uy you will put the u sin theta, and instead of ay you will put the minus g. So directly it will come as the Vy is equal to u sin theta minus gt. Take it as the equation number 4 and 5 respectively. Now again you will see here that is very important कि when the object goes upward, the first thing is the horizontal component which is constant, it will take the object from here to here. Why this object is actually moving from one point to the other point? Due to the horizontal component of the velocity. But remember one thing, कि why the object is going upward and again coming downwards. So definitely in the when you are going upward, the velocity keep on decreasing. How we can also prove it by this formula. See, the y component velocity will be nothing but, right here the formula Vy is equal to u sin theta minus gt. See here minus gt is what actually doing. For example, just take the example, the u sin theta value is 50 and the value of g take it as 10 and it is t. When you will talk about after the 1 second, the velocity will become 50 minus 10 is equal to 40. After these 2 seconds, the velocity will become 2 into 10 is equal to 20, then it will become 30. Again after the 3 seconds it will become 20. So this how you will clearly see that the velocity keeps on decreasing 40, 30, 20 and it will come to a point where the velocity will become 0. So remember, when the vertical component of the velocity becomes 0, so there only will reach the maximum height. This is called the maximum height portion, where actually the velocity or vertical component of the velocity becomes 0. Now again the velocity changes its direction and it start increasing in the negative direction. The velocity increases, and ideally the velocity which is being thrown, the object at which velocity it is thrown, the same velocity it will gain at the ground again when it reaches the ground. Ideally, but actually it does not happen due to the air resistance and all, but ideally it will gain the same velocity when it reaches the ground. So this how it goes up, becomes 0 and it becomes negative and increases again in the negative direction. So now again from the velocity, just like the position after time t, you can calculate here also ki velocity is nothing but u cos theta into I cap plus u sin theta minus gt into j cap. It is just like that ki v velocity vector is nothing but vx I component plus vy j component. Clear hai? Now again it is just magnitude. Now again you will when you are going to calculate the magnitude of velocity, it will be nothing but the vx square plus vy square. Just put the values of vx and vy, it will be nothing but u cos theta whole square plus u sin theta minus gt ka whole square. So take it as equation number 6 and 7 respectively. Also the direction formula, you know ki when the two vectors are making an angle 90 degree, then it will be nothing but b upon a. Just put the value of b is nothing but u sin theta minus gt and take the value of a as u cos theta. So direction will be given by tan theta is equal to u sin theta minus gt upon u cos theta. It is as simple as that. Take it as equation number 8. Now we'll come to the equation of trajectory. Before we move to that, we'll try to understand ki what is actually the trajectory is. Trajectory is nothing but the equation or the path. Trajectory is nothing but the path which is being followed by the object when it is thrown upwards, or the locus of the point in the mathematical language. So what we are actually going to find here, the equation or the relation. In one term we can say that the relation between x and y we need to find here. So we know the equation number 1, x is equal to u cos theta into t, and we'll take the equation number 2, y is equal to u sin theta minus u sin theta into t minus half gt square. Just remember one thing ki what we are going to do, we'll just see here ki what is common term here, that is time. So we will replace the time by going to replace the time. So what we are going to do, see from the equation number 1 only, take the time is equal to x upon u cos theta. Take u cos theta just in the denominator of x. So it will become t is equal to x upon u cos theta. Substitute it in the equation number 2. So t is equal to x upon u cos theta, you are going to substitute in the equation number 2. You will get, it will become y is equal to u sin theta into x upon u cos theta minus half g x square upon u square cos square theta. And sin theta upon cos theta will become tan theta, and u get cancelled, and it will become x tan theta minus g upon 2u square cos square theta into x square. This is the required equation that we are going to calculate. This is called the equation of the trajectory. Take it as the equation number 9. Take this tan theta as p and this whole term as the q. So this equation will become in the form of y is equal to px minus qx square. Just try to remember or recall the concept of tenth, that this equation is nothing but the quadratic equation, because it is having the degree 2. This is called the quadratic equation, and you might be knowing about it ki in the polynomial chapter. You know that ki in the quadratic equation we get the nature of the curve as the parabola. That means कि any object when thrown upward will follow a parabolic path like this. So when the object is thrown, this all paths are called the parabolic path because the equation that will be formed is the quadratic equation. So this is about the trajectory or equation of the trajectory. Now I will move to the next term, that is the time of flight. So first of all, read the definition, what actually the definition says. The total time taken by the projectile to go up and come down to the same level from which it was projected is called the time of flight. For example, when you are throwing the object from here, it goes up and again it comes down to complete, to go up and come down to the same level or the ground. The time taken will be denoted by t. This is called the time of the flight. And remember one thing, how we are going to calculate or we are going to move. Remember the trick or the tip, in this particular case this is the initial position and this is the final position, and you might be knowing about it when the initial position and the final position is same in the vertical direction, that means the displacement is 0 in the vertical direction. When you are going to measure in the vertical direction, I am not talking about the horizontal displacement, I am talking about the vertical displacement. There is no net vertical displacement, because when you are starting from the ground only and you are coming again on the ground. So we will start from the same concept, that is the net vertical displacement along the vertical direction is 0. Okay, so just recall the equation number 2. I have written here y is equal to u sin theta into t minus half gt square. When the vertical displacement is 0, you will put the value of y as 0 and put the value of small t as the capital T, because we are going to calculate the time of flight. So it will become u sin theta into t minus half gt square is equal to 0. Just take the minus quantity into the right side, it will become u sin theta into capital T is equal to half g capital T square. Now from t to t cancel, one t will remain, and take the g on the other side and also the 2. So it will, the equation of the time will become, time of flight will come as the 2u sin theta upon g. This is what we are going to calculate. The time of flight is nothing but the 2u sin theta upon g. This is the fourth term that we are willing to calculate. Take it as the equation number 10th. Now the next term is the maximum height. Just read down the definition first. It is the maximum vertical distance attained by the projectile above the horizontal plane of the projection. What we are going to do here, we are going to, it is the maximum vertical distance. What we are talking about, we already know that the object goes up and up and up and reaches the maximum height where the velocity becomes 0 and start coming down. So where the velocity becomes 0, that particular position is called the maximum height position, and it is denoted by capital H. So the same concept we are going to deal, that is the vertical component of the velocity becomes 0. So by Newton's third equation of motion in the y direction, we know that v square minus u square is equal to 2as, as the final component of the velocity will become 0 and the initial component with which the body is thrown upward is nothing but u sin theta. So it will become u square sin square theta is equal to, and you are throwing against the gravity, then a is equal to minus g, it will become minus 2g, and the distance will become the capital H. So from here the minus sign on the both the sides cancelled, and this will become u square sin square theta upon 2g. This is very important. The maximum height is nothing but u square sin square theta upon 2g. Take it as the equation number 11. Now we'll come to the last term, that is the horizontal range. It is denoted by capital R, and it is nothing but this distance. How much we have distance travelled in the x direction. So read down the definition also. It is the horizontal distance travelled by the body during the time of flight. In the complete time t, how much distance you have travelled from here O point to here. That is called the horizontal range. So horizontal range is nothing but the, directly we will use the same concept. Speed is equal to distance upon time wala logic. Speed is equal to distance upon time, then distance will be or nothing but speed into time. What will be your speed? Speed will be your horizontal velocity, I have already told you the horizontal component of the velocity takes the object from one position to the other in the horizontal direction. What will be the time? Time will be nothing but the time of flight. So it will be nothing but the horizontal component of the velocity, that is u cos theta, and the time of flight will be nothing but capital T. Then it will become u cos theta. And what is the equation of the time of flight? We have already derived this. It is nothing but 2u sin theta upon g. Then u and u get multiplied and it will become u square, and take the rest of the quantity under the bracket, that is nothing but the 2 sin theta cos theta. In mathematical terms, this is a formula of sin 2 theta. The maths student might be knowing about it, and the bio student just try to mug up this formula, that 2 sin theta cos theta is nothing but the sin 2 theta. So the horizontal range will become the u square sin 2 theta upon g. This is very important formula. Take it as the equation number 12. So we will summarize by this diagram ki this is the path that a particular object follows. This is the horizontal range, this is the maximum height, and total time will be your time of flight. This is the path of the projectile. So this is the final diagram that we have drawn here. So this is all about this particular topic of a oblique projectile. Hopefully you like this lecture. So thanks for watching this video. Thank you.